The broad unmuted.
Good afternoon. Happy Tuesday. Welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us for today's webinar. I believe you have grabbed your hot tea and coffee with you to stay with us in this 1 hour session. We are pleased to invite our stage speaker, Mr. Fred Ang, who will be presenting the topic, how to we keep compliant for efficient tax reporting and to achieve the effortless Singapore GST Reform 5 direct submission. This is including a detailed demo session that to show how do you move away with the manual process with Stage 300. Stay with us. Should you have any question along the way and how your organization can benefit with this GST direct submission with the Stage 300, type them in the chat panel and we will answer them accordingly at the end of the session. I'm going to pass back the airtime back to Mr. Fred Ang. Fred, your time.
All right. Thank you, Lynn, for the introduction. I'm Fred. I will start the topic for today. Right. I think everyone has no issue seeing my screen. Okay, so I will start now. Right. Welcome everyone. Okay, so today the main topic is the GST direct submission with the Singapore tax module. So what is the Singapore tax module? The Singapore tax module is apart from the Stage 300, there's a tax services module, right? But Singapore tax module is another module that is specialized for the Singapore tax. We help you to gather and prepare information that you need when you're reporting GST to the IRAS. So in this module, the mainly is these few features. First is you can generate the GST F5 form just in one click. You can directly generate the report, right? Also, a new feature is introduced from 2023 PU4 version onwards, is the automation of the submission of the GST. So it can actually integrate to the IRAS portal. I will show you this the feature later on. First, I will talk about the F5 form. Okay. What is the difference if you don't have the GST Singapore tax module? So like the previously, without this module, you actually have to go through a certain step. Many steps to compile all the data that we require into a F5 form. All right. So let's say, for example, I use this. For example, we need to generate the tax tracking report for sales, like the GL transition listing for sales to tally the record, and also for purchases as well, the input-output tax. Then also we need to do reconciliation if required. Then lastly, we compile it into a format that we can use to perform the GST submission. So something like F5 form, you have to submit in the IRAS portal. Right, this is without the Singapore tax module in high level. With Singapore tax module, actually we just generate the F5 form. Then now with the new feature, we can just do submission and submit to the IRAS portal. Right, in high level. So now I will be doing a live demo. Okay, so I will go into my system. Okay, so first I will log into Stage 300. So today I'll be using the web screen. Okay, in the first part, I will show how it looks like without Singapore tax module. So I'll be using the tax services. Okay, please let me load the system for a while. I will log into the system. So let's say without Singapore tax module, okay, we're facing the GST submission in this quarter. What we usually will do is we'll generate the tax tracking report first. Okay, so here in Stage 300, we have this tax tracking report. Under here, okay, we go over here first. Okay, just ignore the Singapore tax where now we are doing without Singapore tax module. Okay, so in the tax services, tax tracking. Okay, so for example, this I will use. Okay, I will select IRAS. This is my tax authority. I will print in the tax reporting currency. So for this, I will use this quarter, for example, 2020 January until March, this quarter, for example. So I will generate this report, okay, print. Okay, save in Excel so we can add formula later. Okay, so we have a sales tax tracking report for sales downloaded. So let's do it one more time for the purchases. So here you can see I have this both file downloaded. Okay, let me remove some of the file. So these are the two reports that I mentioned earlier. Before I check do the compile into F5 form, I will also generate the GL transaction listing. So usually in our practice, we will compare the tax tracking report with our GL account. Let's say for sales, we'll compare with the respective GL code and also for purchases. Yes. So for here, same, I will do generate for the same quarter. Here, I think all good. I'll just print. Okay, let's say for this quarter, we will use these three files first. Okay, so the name, okay, I already renamed the file over here. So let's start with the sales tax tracking. Okay, let's say for the F5 form, the first part, we will see what is our revenue first, or the sales. So in the sales tax tracking report, we will get the what's the tax base, tax amount for this quarter. Right, here we can see the total in the bottom here as well. Then let's say for the GL transaction listing, beginning of the month, we will do a checking across our GL transaction first. So here I already highlighted that. So this one is a account receivable trade. Right, let's compare it with the tax tracking report sales. So this is for reconciliation purpose. Okay, so here I get this 157,991 here in total, which is you can see the sum is quite small over here. I will paste it here. Yeah, so it's the same figure. So let's say this one all good. We'll do the same thing for purchases as well. Okay, so purchases we have around like this figure. Tax amount, the tax base 10764.89. Okay. GL transaction for GST receivable, we also have this figure. So let's say we do this reconciliation every month, every quarter. The first part. So what we need to do this is because we need to do checking first before we compile into a form something like this. You open up the file. Alright, so for example, I have this form. Okay, let's just look at this file first. So this form is actually, I mean, we do it in Excel. It's actually like try to mimic the F5 form. So we will just prepare all the blocks we will use. I know in F5 form there is many other blocks, but it depends on your business. You may only use certain field. Okay. So for example, I have my standard rated supply, okay, which I got it from my sales tax tracking report earlier. Okay, so 147, actually I put it over here already. Then also for the tax amount, is 10 output tax value, 10325. So we have two of the box filled in here. Okay. So for purchases, I think we saw it earlier, is the figure over here. Purchases 153 from here. Then also the tax amount, required tax is over here. For a simple case, for my company, we only sell this, we only have the standard real supply. Let's say you have a zero rated and excellent supply, you also need to calculate yourself and put in. I mean, this is without Singapore tax module. There's a lot of field you need to cover, right? Later we'll look at all the file, okay? So this is like, I will just stop here because we have a lot of blocks here, but we don't need to demonstrate all that because it will be taking a lot of time. I will do a comparison with Singapore tax module. So this is like a summary of how we do GST submission without tax module. Because after we compile all the file, the next step I think you guys should be familiar is we go to the IRAS My Tax portal, you log in, then you select your UEN, then you fill in box by box, copy and paste manually. Right? Let's say you have 20 boxes you need to fill in, then you fill in 20 times. Okay. But for my case, okay, I only use 13 box lah. Right, let's say with Singapore tax module, all right, Singapore tax report module, which is right under here. You can see on my screen, I believe. So we have this GST F5 form over here. All right, I'll click on it. Okay, here you can see this user interface. So I already selected F5 form. So same case, I will use the same period. Okay, I already selected, right? One more step I need to do, click generate. Okay, so here you can see, I'll put it side by side for you. Okay, this I compile manually from all the report earlier. I need to do it verification across each GL and tax tracking report. Then I do compile into this report manually, right? But for this screen over here, I just click generate. Then it's already put in for me. Okay, the standard rated supply, for example, and the total. Okay, the total value of taxable purchases, the output tax due, and also the input tax. So with this Singapore tax review, you don't need to do all that. I will just click generate and it will compile over here. Right. So also if you click on it, you can see the network breakdown. Like this is from what transaction. Example, like the drill down. So you can see like some of the box actually for you to fill in. Let's say you have claim GST, you have back date, you have pre-registration. Yeah. And also you also need to input the revenue, for example. So this with Singapore tax model, you can just click generate and have a lot of field prepared for you. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 box, 6 box you need to enter if this is applicable for you. So you have the rest of the box already save a lot of time for you. Some of the fields just need to enter. Okay. So with Singapore tax module, you already covered most of the thing. And as I mentioned earlier, from 2023 PO4 onward, you have this button at the bottom. This is for automated submission, right? It's the advantage of this module because you're using this part instead of generate manually. Actually, it will do some verification as well. Okay, let's say I do a submission, I test it. Okay, yes. Okay, here it will put some warning. Okay, first is I did not put in the declaration designation. Okay, I will just do it on the spot here. Okay, I completed this one. Let me try again. There we go. Okay, here you also have some checking. Here you can see, okay, as deferred, the import GST is completed. The value goods imported under IGDS should not be 0, which is referring. It is referring this I did not enter, it is 0. Same for this as well. Revenue for the accounting report is not entered with figure, right? Imagine if you do it manually in Excel, it won't do this checking, all this checking for you, in case you miss out. Okay, so let's say we continue. We try to proceed to the submission. Let's say my revenue is same as my output. I will just copy and put over here. So it depends on your business. Your revenue might also have to include other things else. So there's one more step for you to calculate. Alright, the total of goods imported. Just put the value here. Okay, so I'll try again. So if the checking has gone through, it will not pop any error. Or the validation has passed, it will not pop any error. So with this module, it does some validation for you. Okay, so here you can see it prompts me to the SingPass login already. So you also skip the step that you don't need to go and find the link and log in separately. Here, stage 300, it directs you to the login screen already. So with this module, you can actually skip a lot of steps, right? So I will show you how it's done for the submission. Let me move back to my slide. I'll talk about the automation of the filing of the GST F5 to IRAS My Tax Portal. Because what I showed what actually after you log in is after you log in, you actually integrate all the data you enter here into the RSX portal. So which means it is actually more efficient. You don't need to manually fill in the data into the MyTax portal. So you don't need to do another round of checking in case you fill in or copy and paste wrongly, since there is about 19 boxes. I think people do make mistake, right? Yeah. You do another round of checking. So it also reduces human error, because there's a risk of you enter a wrong figure or you copy the wrong column. It's like entirely reduced. Yeah. So I think this part I explained earlier. I'll just skip it. Okay, I already entered the revenue and the information. Okay. So we will stop at the IRS submission portion, right? After I click on the button, it prompts me to the login screen. Right, I will show you based on screenshot because we can't do actual submission at the moment. So in the login screen, let's say the user scan his SingPass to log in, and they will see, okay, they might have they have access to multiple UEN, so they will choose the UEN. Okay, let's say company, this company, they will click on it. So I click on it, actually the system, the MyTax IRS portal will prompt for the permission. So it will show you your permission is required for the following purpose, because you are doing submission of GST F5 return and F8 return. So it will ask you, do you allow seamless filing for small company, IRS corporate tax filing? Yeah. So you don't need to, it actually integrate all the data. As it mentioned here, seamless filing. You don't need to enter again. Enter the figure manually. So you click allow. Then we have this, it will just integrate all the data. Then you can see all the record over here. So here, if let's say it's successfully, no issue, it will also prompt you the record. Your IRS GST tax information was successfully submitted to the IRS tax authority. The information was returned upon the successful submission. Yeah, so you can actually do it all in the portal earlier. In this portal, you just generate the data. Okay. Then you just do all the enter all the box required to enter. Just click IRS submission, log in. Yeah, log in. Then you just select, click. Then it's actually imported all the data. You just do approval for the submission. Then it is like an e-filing. How easy to do the filing nowadays? You don't need to copy into the portal manually, even like compile all the file. Yeah, so this is only in Singapore tax module and 2023 version PO4 onwards. If you do not see this IRS submission, you have to update to this version at least. In the web screen only, and to emphasize these features in the web screen only. Back to the slide. So if you have any question, you can ask. I'll also share some of the questions first. We do the Q&A first before I go to the question. Is there any question? You can type it in the chat. Can I which level?
So let me read out the first question first. There are some challenges for GST submission among our Singapore company customers. Now, there are source of documents from the client that are sent less than 1 week before the submission due, which cause the financing and rush to finish before the deadline. So how do we manage all these things?
First hand is a feature that the Singapore tax report we saw earlier. It generates the data based on what you have entered in the system. So let's say this source document for client, they send once, let's say before your cut, they send after your cut off. For a wise user to enter the record, then you can generate once again. Because if you do not have this data in your system, you cannot like integrate this data into the IRS portal, like what I showed earlier, the IRS submission feature.
So even now the challenge would be some clients are spend less than a week. So the financing are actually very fast to have to finish before the deadline. So any suggestion for them or the system enhancement or not?
So do you mean like there's actually a lot of document they cannot like key in and do validation in very last minute?
Correct.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so I suppose this question is coming from a service provider where you provide accounting service for your client. So I guess this is the challenge that you are facing with your client. You should actually educate your client that there is a due date for GST submission. So unless you are able to, unless they're also using Sage 200, to update their accounts, and I'm not too sure whether you are also doing accounting entries for them. Okay, so let's say if they are using Sage 200 to do their accounts with their clerk already do the data entry, unless you can actually, they can actually do the submission. I will presume that they give you the source documents and maybe you are doing the data entry for them in your own ERP system. So if you are using Sage 200, then guess the source is still coming, source of problem is still coming from the client. You have to educate them to tell them that they're able to provide you some leeway for you to do a data entry.
Okay, so this client is actually an accounting firm, which is very commonly found in Singapore, where they have to manage the client, their requirement, and their I would say that it's very common on the client base. So that's something that we can advise you. Let's move on to the next question. Okay. Reconciliation between the GST module and the source journal in the GL. So how do we reconcile here?
Actually, I think what I showed earlier, how to do without Singapore tax module, actually is like very similar on how to do the reconciliation. So previously we do all the reconcile like from tax tracking module, right? The GL transaction. Because let's say you just not confident in using this module, yes, people will be very cautious. They do all the checking, all the reconciliation, like the old method first. So you still have all the previous report, like the tax tracking report and all the GL transaction listing. You still can use this method to do the reconciliation first. And also in the system earlier we showed, they also allow some drill down, like for the output tax. Also for the input tax, you can have some drill down over here.
Okay.
So the previous, you still can use the previous, you still can use the tax services and GL module to do reconciliation.
Okay.
And compare with the data generated by F5 form, the Singapore tax module.
That's the beauty. Okay, let's move on to the next question, 3. So this is something that when displayed in the GL listing or report, how do we make it simple to view and process to submit the report?
When displayed in the GL listing or report, actually I don't get this question. What do you mean? What is displayed in the GL listing or report? Do you mean like you have a GL listing report, but you have a lot of different accounts? It's very messy.
Let's put it there are multiple categories, but they want you to do display in the GL listing. Can it be done?
Then they have multiple entity, right?
Yes.
They will submit separately, right? You need to generate based on company, Then let's say you have sales, you have purchase, you can actually generate multiple GL transactions. You don't generate all the report. You can filter by GL account and filter by period and only have one transaction listing for you to. It's easier to do reconciliation.
Okay.
And also for you to compile into the F5 form.
Okay. Then let's move on to the next slide. I will read out the question here.
Can read the question.
There are 7 questions coming out. Let me read out the first one from the floor. We are the GST registered charity. Can we do online submission of Form 5 to IRAS or not? They are using the 6300 2023 1.0.
PO1.
You need to have the Singapore Tax Module 2023 PU1 to be installed in your system.
Okay, so possible to do it because they are in the 2023 1.0 version PU1. Okay, the next question.
300 is 2023. Yeah.
So the next question is okay. Just now we have mentioned to the floor and announced the floor. They want to know this direct submission module, is it applied on all versions of 6300? The answer is no. You must at least have the 6300 2023 and above PU1. Then you are able to apply this tax module. So if you are below than it, you have to connect with us, connect with our research team, and we will advise you of moving forward with our partner together. The next question, if the customer is asking, are we allowed to amend the figure manually if the output text is not captured in the system? So for example, those kind of dim output text.
Yeah, actually, as I showed, for those like purchase or your revenue, actually it's generated from system. You cannot edit those. Is in this box. So you must enter all your data in the 600.
Right. So Fred, can we show example like output text, the one that with a square box, we are allowed to edit. Those that is without the square box in the column, we are not allowed to edit, right? Is this how we read this table?
Those like don't have a box. You can see this one has a box. This one can edit. This one is GST on recover back.
Okay.
This one you can't use it. These are editable. These are just display on the screen. It's not editable.
Right. Okay. So this is clear. So by having logged into the system, when you see the box in the numbers, it means that it gives you a function to edit. Those that are not static, we are not allowed to edit, even though it's manually. Okay. This is clear. The next question is that for the customer who import the GST, we pay direct to the customer. Can they be generated in the stage? Can it be generated in the Form 5 submission?
Yes, let me take a look.
So we are switching to the demo setting of what you see just now on the screen. So bear with us that we are moving around from the presentation and to the screen to answer some of the questions that you have from the floor.
Question, are you reading now?
Yeah, I'm looking at the console. For import text, for import GST paid direct to custom, can it be generated in the GST F5?
That depends on how you capture your transaction, all right? So let's say you have import GST, especially you pay to custom. First of all, you attract your purchase as per normal, your GST as a GST receivable. So those paid to custom, if you track the record within your AP or GL, okay, there is a separate tax class for the custom tax. As long you identify to the correct item tax class in the tax services, and then this tax class is mapped to the IRAS tax code, this would capture in the Form 5 for you.
Okay, Thanks, Evelyn. So the next question is quite similar. Once we click the IRA submission, it will be sent to the approver, or can we save as a draft first in the IRA portal before submitting?
It's a direct submission to IRAS already.
So we can save.
So they can actually generate the Form 5 on the screen.
Okay.
Yes.
Yep.
The customer always asking, right, so how do we get the Singapore tax module with Sage 300? Connect with us if you are interested to get the tax module and you are not sure which edition you are in. Connect with us and your partner. We will reach out to you and advise you accordingly.
Yeah, there's multiple people asking.
Yep.
There's the last question.
So the next question is, what if we have a preparer and an approver?
Yes, okay, there's the one who log in the SingPass, right? So someone you are just submit, you are just the people who's prepared. You cannot do this submit to the IRAS. You have another level of approval. So the one who do prepare will log in and do the submission, and then the approver will just go into the My Tax IRAS portal to do the approval after they submit. The approval is just direct to the My Tax IRAS portal.
Okay.
Because this one is emphasized on the submission, so it's more focused on the preparer.
Let me see whether any other question. Let's pause for another 1 minute. Customer is also asking, now we are the Sage 300 user, but can we install our Sage, can we install the Singapore GST module by ourselves? The answer is we have to see your 300. We will connect with you with the partner to decide. So for majority of the customer, let's connect with your partner and Sage team. We will advise you accordingly. So, but there's also another question from the floor. The GL transaction listing is not able to see the tax code.
Yes, this is because GL transaction cannot see. So when we do reconciliation, we always utilize multiple reports, such as a tax tracking report, to based on the tax classes, tax authority. Yeah.
The tax class.
The tax code, do you referring to the 6% or percentage?
This time, is it 8% or 9%? You think?
Yeah, I mean the 8 or 9. Sorry about that. Yes, because also to share, because I think last year in Singapore there's a changes in the tax rate. Some of our finance this year, when they do reconciliation, they also check on the. Let me open up the report.
Last year, 2023, Singapore is ranging at 8% for the GST. Yeah. This year, 2024, will rise to 9%.
I mean, some of our finance this quarter, they also check each invoice, because some of the invoice is actually tendered last year it's 8%, and this year it's 9%. They have to do another reconciliation to confirm all the rates are correct. So yeah, so it's a bit tedious lah. But because this is actually depends on your input. If your invoice every month you enter correct the data, the correct tax percentage, you don't need to worry about that. So, so-called, you have your data is good, then the data will be generated is good as well.
Okay. We are still waiting for any other question from the floor, but I will see that the question has already put on pause. Well, we should put this as a stop for now. I will say that thank you for everyone for joining today's webinar. We are pleased to having a lot of you answer some of the key questions. Nevertheless, after this call, after this webinar, you'll be receiving the presentation and the recorded video. We're sending to you with a survey. Feel free to share with us the challenges for GST direct submission and what are the topics that you want to see to enhance your stage 300, your operation, your workflow, as well as your productivity within your team. We are always there to help our customers to empower the team. On behalf of the stage team, I will please to share with you the next upcoming webinar that we are planning to have is about the stage 300, enhance the efficiency with the workflow. That is across your finance, your sales, your operation, as well with the purchasing team. So stay tuned with us. We will send out the webinar shortly with you to join from the team together. Have a very great day and very good evening. Thank you so much. Have a good day. Bye-bye.